Hello, coaches! In today's episode, our panel of experts will share their responses to the question, what do you do when you don't have the opportunity to work with a coach? Although it's great to hear how valuable coaching has been to all of our guests, this topic in particular was a great reminder that coaching can come from many different people and teams in our school communities. As coaches, we can identify the elements that make this kind of peer coaching work and then apply them in our own coaching practice. And for those of us that may be the only coach in a school or a building, it's a great opportunity to reflect on all the different ways we can create our own professional learning networks, both within and beyond our school communities, to help us coach better. My name is Kim Cafino, and I'll be your host throughout the series. I've been an instructional coach in schools around the world for 20 years. I am passionate about the impact that instructional coaches can have on school culture, student learning, and teacher professional development, and I am so excited to share these conversations with you. We created this series to give you a window into our Eduro Learning the Coach micro-credential mentorship program. If you're ready to level up your coaching, our next cohort starts in April 2019 and registration is open now. Stay tuned after the video for more details and a free download to preview what you'll learn in this personalized coaching credential program. If you like any part of this series, give this video a like and subscribe to our channel to get all 8 videos in the series. Turn on notifications to be the first to see the next episode. Let's get started. What happens when you don't have access to a coach? What do you do?
So we don't have a math coach, for instance. We have quite a small math department. I think it's about 6 teachers. It doesn't mean that we shouldn't have one. It just means that's not where the resources are allocated right now. And there we often do rely on team leaders. That's what we call our heads of department, our team leaders. And so then we work with team leaders, not just to develop leadership strategies, but also to develop coaching strategies. I think that's another way where we can use official coaches is to help train up middle leaders who aren't coaches with coaching strategies. So coaches shouldn't separate themselves from other middle leaders. There's a lot of back and forth and learning that they can do from each other that will better student learning. Our time is precious and all of that, but if team leaders can learn from coaches, better coaching strategies, and if coaches can learn from middle leaders, better middle leader strategies, knowing that they're one step removed from the students in that role, and thinking about, okay, as a team leader or as a coach, how do I know I'm having impact on student learning? That's a really powerful group. So we do rely a lot on our math team leader to help coach. Again, it's trickier because you're usually co-teachers with those people. You're also in a little bit of a position of authority. It doesn't always work great, but that's what we got.
There's the dangerous area. The dangerous area is it's top down, it's rigid, and you are kind of saying adherence to what I say is what success looks like for a teacher. That can be dangerous. And so you have to look for another way of creating middle leaders. So if you don't have coaches, you might have grade level leaders. You might have department chairs, something like that. They can function as coaches and to help both with the direction of the school and help manage the leaders, and then also kind of trickle that down into what's going on day to day in the classroom, right? So yeah, if there are no coaches, you're going to have to find alternate folks. But to say, here's admin, here's teachers, I've just never seen that work. It just becomes hierarchical and it feels like it becomes rigid oftentimes, right? It just doesn't have the dynamism of an innovative school.
I think that if this was me now and I didn't have a coach, and I know what I know, I think that I would, and I'm in a different school, I would be trying to build relationships where I can be vulnerable, I think for me, that feels key. So I build relationships where I think, all right, I know that I can kind of expose myself, if you like, to this person about how I think and how I feel about my profession. So, and what I'm doing on a daily basis, and maybe, the big picture thinking too. So it would be building up those kind of professional and personal relationships. So even if that there might not be any coaches at that school and that person doesn't really understand coaching, I guess by building up that type of relationship, you could kind of move into those conversations a bit more easily. So I think that's probably what I would do. And I'm thinking back because I've actually never worked in a school apart from University East, where there have been coaches and there is this in culture of coaching. So I think that's what I do normally, actually, that I would try and build up those relationships. So I've got those kind of safe psychological spaces, I guess, to have those type of conversations. And then I think it's also kind of realizing that this isn't all about just solution focus. It's also about the process. And so not looking for conversations that are just going to give you an immediate solution, and being okay with that. So not looking for that in your relationships necessarily, and understanding that you have it within you to kind of work this out, and so try and frame conversations like that. So yeah, those two things, I think. Give yourself some kind of safe psychological space by building up nice strong relationships with people that you trust professionally and personally, and then also think, right, it's okay to have conversations about these things without looking for an immediate, like, give me a solution, give me 5 solutions that I can move away with, and see that there's a bit more of a process that's really healthy.
But that's a great thing, right? What a good time to be alive in the world. So there's so many different ways of leveraging information or accessing information. I mean, like, arguably some of the questions I have or the areas of need that I have wouldn't be appropriate to bring to the coach. Just like some of the things that people need around school, they don't come to me with. It's happened to me twice this week, though, where someone comes in and say, okay, hey, Adam, like, really random thing. And I'm like, well, bring it. Let's figure it out. And if I don't really know what to do with this, we'll figure out where to go with it next. And I feel like coaches can do the same thing. If there's a need, you throw it to the coach, and the coach says, you know what, I get it, but I don't have the answer for you. Here's where you can go with that. Yeah, so I would turn other places. Like, clearly, like, for one, just personal research through the internet, obviously, but then also through professional learning network, whether it's through Twitter or whether it's through other, I mean, I've got a number of counselor friends that I'm just on Facebook with, and the number of interactions we have that are professionally valuable, it's like, even through an older platform like that, it's very useful. And sometimes I don't even know I need it. It's like someone will post some random article and I'm like, oh, that is so good. I'm so glad that came across my my awareness now, that kind of thing. So I guess having that broader network, and obviously my colleagues face to face. I mean, really old school, but like, the woman Dee Slattery down the hall, who's one of our new high school counselors. I love, working with my colleagues here, even locally. So I guess that's an answer to that, but I almost feel like there's nothing profound there. It's like stating the obvious,
Well, if I have a problem that I could ask a coach, that's not my first port of call. I Google it first. But I guess if I needed feedback and it's in between coaching meetings, I have the opportunity of actually seeing him every day because our classrooms in the morning are next to each other. So it's not like I'm ever going to have a 3-week period where I'm not going to have access to a coach. But the other thing is that in the colleagues that I work with, there's also a huge range of knowledge just there. So I am in and out of other people's classrooms a lot. I don't know if they like it at this school so much, but I am in and out. I can't help myself. And so there's always somebody around that might be able to help in the between time. I mean, as teachers, we've all got as a collective, we've got such a wealth of knowledge and experience amongst us. It's really not down to just one person.
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, for me personally, I think because the way I'm using those coaching cycles aren't kind of like a survival thing. Like, I think if you're a new teacher and you're in a new school and you're trying to learn new things, you kind of feel like you need someone on your side a little bit. Again, using coach as like a sports metaphor, right? Like, if you're the rookie on the team, you definitely need that feedback from the coach and you need that kind of support. But when you've been on the team for a while, for 7 years, you don't need that constant support. And we have a pretty veteran team that's been together. Like our English team has been together for almost 7 years. And I know that any one of them is a pretty amazing, I can go to them with anything.
Right.
And we're kind of, it's kind of crazy. After every class, we like run to each other's rooms and like, how did that go? Like, what'd you do? Oh my God, that was the worst. Like, I can't believe we thought that was going to be good. And so we have that day-to-day kind of just rapport as well, which is really, really important. So I think fostering that sense of camaraderie and rapport within a team is really important work for the coach to do, because then they feel like, we can go play this game without the coach. Like we know how to do it. And especially if you have some of those kind of veteran people on the team, that seems to help a lot. So personally, I don't know. I don't think I can answer that question. I never feel like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I need my coach. But I've been doing this for a long time. In
the end, if you're the only one and it's on you, then you just do it, right? Because in the end, that's the reality. If you have more people to collaborate with and more hands to carry the load, then you're of course you're going to be further ahead. But we do what we can. Well, it is a good. I think one of the answers is things like coattail, right? One of the answers is getting involved in a large group that okay, you have the passion, you have the interest, but you don't have the skills and you don't see anything around you. Then you go outside of your school, right? And coattail or Eduro learning is an example of that, right? There's others as well, but that's a good one.
I think trying to find those people outside of your school, right? So of course, if you can find professional learning opportunities, but if you can find other mentors, I became a teacher as we were making the transition from like, I can use search engines to find sample units that I can use to build stuff, into social media really becoming a place where you can connect with other people. And I've backed off recently a little bit on my social media use because it was starting to dominate my life a little bit, but I still know that there are mentors out there that I can connect with. There are people that I can talk to. And as a librarian, I have an amazing colleague here this year, Vicki Radford. But a lot of times as a librarian, you're very isolated in your building, and no one here is going to coach me on how to be a better librarian. So I've had to find those people at schools like NIST and ISB and WAB and other schools that I've worked at, and get them to coach me from a distance. And if you reach out and ask for help, people will ask for it. People will give it to you generally.
Thank you so much for watching our Eduro Learning Level Up Your Coaching series. If you like any part of this series, please give this video a like. It really does help out our channel. If you want more videos like this, subscribe to our channel and turn on notifications to be the first to see the next episode. We want to hear from you. Do you have questions about instructional coaching? Would you like to see a specific educator featured in an upcoming interview? Do you have a great coaching story to share with us? Leave us a comment down below and let us know. If you are ready to level up your coaching, check out our website where we have over 20 practical, relevant, and engaging online courses designed by coaches for coaches. Our most in-depth program, the Coach Micro-Credential Mentorship Program, is exactly what you need to level up your coaching. You'll get 26 weeks of curated coaching content in our private online course forums, a private cohort of coaches to learn, share, and reflect with, and you'll even have your own private mentor for an entire academic year. Become a certified Eduro Learning Instructional Coach today. Go to eduralearning.com/coach to find out more. To get a sneak peek at what we offer, download our free 5 strategies for your coaching toolkit in the description box below.